In the next 3 or 4 tutorials, I'm gonna show you how to create a complete lobby system where you can see the players standing on platforms. Above the head you can see their name and Steam avatar, and if they are ready or not, you can toggle the ready status, and if all players are ready, the host can start the match. Also the host has a chance to invite other players here, and if a player joins, it appears here at a free spot, and the host can kick this player again. And finally, in the last tutorial of this series, I'll show you how to turn this into a main menu so that you can right from your main menu connect with other players, making a party, and then can play together. So for example, like in Fortnite. For this tutorial series, you need to have Steam and the Advanced Session plugin integrated in your project. For that, I recommend you this tutorial, and it would be also good if you watch this tutorial about Steam friend lists if you want to be able to invite other players to the lobby. So firstly, we create a new lobby map. I'm going here to File, New Level, choosing here the basic template, Create, saving that in my Maps folder, calling this lobby. Then in my blueprints folder, if you don't have one, you can create one. I'm creating a new folder, which I call also lobby. And here I'm creating a new blueprint class, actor, calling this BP_lobby player platform. So here I'm adding a new mesh. For this tutorial, I'm just adding a cube, and I'm maybe moving this a bit down. Also adding an arrow component and calling this player spawn transform. Also want to reattach it here to the default scene root. Then moving this a bit up so we can see it here. So I'm going back to the lobby and dragging in one of these and duplicate it, drag in another one, and yeah, that will basically be the platforms on which our players will join, or on which the characters will stand on when they join the lobby, and getting removed if they disconnect from the lobby again. And now we also need a lobby pawn, so if you play, then we have a good view on our player platforms here. So I'm going here to world settings. If you cannot see the tab, go here to window and enabling them here. And I'm creating a new GameMode in blueprints lobby and calling this BP_lobbygm. And then I'm creating a new blueprint class here, this time a pawn, and calling this BP lobby pawn. So opening this, I'm adding a new camera here, and actually I like it if the camera here for this view has a bit lower FOV, so I'm changing this from 90 to 60. Then we can adding a player start. Moving this maybe about here. And in the world settings, we also want to change here the default pawn class to the lobby pawn we just created. So it's enabled here. We're now playing. Let's see if we have a good view on all our player platforms. That looks fine for now. We can also adjust it later. And what we will do now is going to the lobby player platform. And what we basically need to do in here is first deleting these events here. And yeah, we want to create a new custom event that we call spawn character. So the first event should actually place or put a character on the platform, and the event we create after that should clear the player from this platform again. So first one if a player joins the lobby, second one if a player disconnects from the lobby. So to spawn a character, yeah, now we also need to create two variables. First one, creating PC, changing the type to player controller, and second one I'm calling current character and setting this type to actor. So first thing, if we're spawning a new character on this, we want to set here the PC variable, connect this here with the event, so it automatically creates here new pin. Yeah, that will be good for later if this player platform also stores the player controller of this player here. So then we check if the current character is valid. So at the very beginning, we just created this variable here. It is currently like empty, so not valid. And yeah, that's fine because the platform is also empty, as you just have seen. But if there is already a character standing on our platform, this is valid. And if we want to spawn a new character and there is already a character on it, then we first want to destroy this character. So destroying this actor. And then, after we destroyed it, spawning a new actor from class and selecting here, I'm selecting here the default third-person character or whatever character class you have. For the spawn transform, I'm getting here the player spawn transform, getting the word transform, and connecting this here. And actually, before we forget it, yeah, if there's no character standing on it, we can skip this destroying actor thing. We can just go here from the is not valid to the spawn actor. Right, so, like so. So, in the return value, we also now want to save in this current character that there is now standing a character on our platform, like so. So that's the first event for spawning the character on the platform. And the second one, I will just add a custom event. I'll just call it clear. And this one is firstly setting the PC to nothing. Basically, that's then null. And checking, you can actually copy these three nodes from top here. Checking if the current character is, if there's a character standing on it, then we want to destroy this character. Just to be safe, we're dragging in here our current character and setting it here also to null. Yeah, that's basically it for lobby player platform, at least inside of the blueprint here, because now we're going to our lobby map. We have placed these platforms. And now I want to give them an order. So let's say if the first player is joining the lobby, it should stand in the middle. If the second one is joining, then as we define the order now, maybe it should stand here. If the third player joins, it should stand here, the fourth player here, and the fifth player here. So like this. So I'm going here to the first one in the details tab here and searching for tags. So here under the actor tags, I'm just adding here one element and calling this 0. So 0 for the first one. So basically we have 5 platforms here and this one has the index 0. Then the second one, I'm setting this to index 1, the third one to index 2, then maybe this one here to 3, and the last one to 4. So the next step is happening in our lobby game mode. So I'm going in here and creating a new function, calling this setup platforms. Then going here to the event graph and making sure this setup platforms function is called on event begin play. So opening this function, and here first I'm getting all actors of class, searching here for selected actor class, the lobby player platform, and yeah, as we just set the order of our player platforms, we cannot just taking these out actors here because it can be any order here, this array. So I'm just using this get all actors of class node to getting how many platforms do we have placed in our map. So I'm getting of this array the last index to use this for an for loop. Wanna change this here to be the last index. And what we're now doing is in the loop body, get all actors of class with tag. As actor class, we're choosing again the lobby player platform. And now as tag, as you remember, we set as tags 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for our 5 platforms. And as you can see here now, this for loop, this index, right, it will same go here from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the last index here, which is 4 if we have here 5 platforms as result here. So what we can do is converting this here to a string, because we cannot directly connect it here with a name, but we can connect this name here, this string here directly then with the name. So yeah, this will basically go in here with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can get here the 0 element, because in this this here will be fired 5 times, and each time we only have here 1 element in this actor, in this array here. So we're getting here 0 element, adding a new variable and calling this player platforms, changing the type to lobby player platform. Now here, the top right, I'm setting this to, changing this to an array, dragging this in here and saying add, and connecting this here. So then if this for loop is completed, I want to add a new variable and calling this actually b platforms setup done, changing this to a boolean, and on the top right, not an array anymore, so single. And I want to set this here to true once this for loop is completed. So you will see in a bit why I did this here. Next thing is going to the event graph, and here we need event on post login and event on logout. So here, once a player joins the lobby, here once a player disconnects from the lobby. So first on post login, we're getting our, don't get it, we first need to create a new variable here, calling this PCs, changing this to player controller, and on the top right here to an array. So we're getting now our PCs variable here and adding here the new player. And on logout, also getting our PCs and removing the item. So we cannot connect this directly because this is a controller and this is a player controller. But as the player controller has as parent class the controller class, we can cast here to player controller. Make sure to cast here to player controller, not to your special custom controller, just cast to the default cast to player controller. So, and yeah, this will not fail, and we can go here with this to remove it here. Next, why I created this platform setup done. So the thing is, when we first start the game or loading the map here, then this will fire quicker than this here. And that means, because you need to know that we write one here once the first player join, want to make use of the player platforms array. And if we want to make use of it here, but it hasn't been set up already in this function here, then we're getting an error. So what we want to do is check here if the setup here is done, so if this bool is true, and if this is the case, then we can also make use of this player platforms array. So for that, I'm creating a macro and calling this if platforms setup is done. Here I'm getting this boolean, and yeah, added here branch, pressed B on my keyboard and clicked here to get this directly. So here connecting this here with the true pin. So basically, if this setup or if this is true, then it directly goes here to true. And if this is false, we go here with a delay that is also uncompleted, just repeating the process. So it's checking all the time, is this here turning true? Is this turning true? And once this is getting true, it's going here to the output. As we can expect this, that actually this will happen really quick, really few milliseconds after this login here. we basically can, in our macro here, set the time also super low, maybe 0.01 seconds. Then we can connect this here, and also not only if a player joins, also when a player disconnects, we also want to call this. And yeah, what this now should do is trigger a new function that I'm creating now, and I'm calling this update players on platforms, and I'm calling this here. So let's open this, and first thing we want to do in here is checking for each player if this player is already added or like kind of standing on the platform. So we're getting here our PCs and going in here with a for each loop. Then I'm creating here, it's important, a local variable, not a verb, a local variable, and calling this loop PC already added, and setting this to single, and first setting this here to false. Now we are going with our, getting here our player platforms, and also going here with a for each loop, but this time with a for each loop with break. Then we get here the PC, and we compare it with the error element from here. And if we found a match, that means that this player is already added somewhere on the player platform. And then we can call this loop PC already added and set it here to true. And important, also break the for each loop here. So after that is done, it will complete here. So if we had no result, if this goes through the for each loop, but there was no match, we're also getting here the completed, and that's why we created this boolean here. So we now can check if there was a result in the bool. So if it was true, then we don't have to do anything. The player is standing on the platform and everything is nice. And yeah, if that was not set here to true, that means that we need to add the player to the platform. And so first thing, just to make it a bit more clear, we can comment this here, and I call it is PC already added to platform. So, and here we are now getting again, or are we getting here the player platforms and a for each loop with break. So if that is false, make sure you're connecting this here with the false pin. And what we're basically now checking is we're getting the first free player platform and want to spawn the character on it. So we're getting here the PC, checking if this is valid. So just to remember, when going here to the player platform, if a player spawns on the platform, we are setting here the player controller value to something, so it would be valid in that case. And if we are clearing the platform, then this will be set to null, so not valid. Yeah, so if that is not valid, so if the platform is free, then we can going from here and spawn, calling to spawn character event. Make sure to connect it here with the is not valid. So for the PC, we are taking, because we are still in this for each loop body here, we can take basically this array element here. So I'm connecting this here with the PC. And now commenting this here to add PC if needed. Actually, add PC to platform if needed. Then once this here is this first for each loop here is completed, because now we were just checking if the player here is added, and if not, we are adding the player. So basically what I forgot here is once we spawn the character on it, we also want to break this here again. So yeah, the loop is not going on longer. So important here. Yeah, right. We're just adding players to the platforms, but once players are disconnecting, the character would still stand on there because we have nothing here. So basically we didn't call the clear event yet. So let's do that now. So in completed, we're getting again our player platforms with a for each loop, connecting this with the completed here, and we are now getting here get PC and check if this is somewhere in our PC's variable here that holds all our currently connected player controllers. So we're checking if this is still in there. So heading here, branch. So if it's not in there anymore, then we wanna clear the platform. And finally, commenting this one here to remove disconnected players from platforms. And what we can do now is just playing and seeing here that the character spawned there. Actually, only the spawn location is a bit off yet. So you can just try it maybe with two players listen server. So the first spawns here, the second one on the right. So this looks about right. If I'm going with 3 players, then the 3 players are spawning here. And also if a player would now disconnect, it should already work that this player is disappearing, or if a player then joins later, it should start searching here for a free spot again. So the only thing that's wrong right now is, well, not looking good, is the spawn location. And for that, we can basically maybe going here in the lobby platform at first, trying to move this spawn transform to a position that is a bit more fitting. Now you can see that's more fitting, but only the rotation could be, yeah, by 180 degrees rotated on the jaw. So if you play now, we see our characters perfectly fine. You also don't need to do all the error adjustments in here. If you want to adjust it individual, you can go in these actors here and click on the transform, and you can rotate them individually. So for example, that the second player is a bit more looking to the center, you can do it like this. So yeah, that was basically the first tutorial. And in the next tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to add the player invite, the friend list to invite other players on the right, and also adding here the possibility to ready up and adding names on top of the heads, also with the ready status, and also for the host the ability to kick other players. So see you on the next tutorial.